OT baby, thank you for joining us. We promised a lively edition of Outnumbered Overtime, so thank you for joining us.
Outhammered, isn't it? Outhammered.
Okay.
I want to do a post show where we can just drink at my apartment and talk about the news.
That would be so cool.
We could call it Outhammered.
And I can picture the big American flag that you always have hanging in your apartment.
The frame one.
The backdrop.
Yep.
Okay, so where should we begin? Because I just looked at Twitter, and a lot of people are talking about Elizabeth Warren, and she does not understand why Donald Trump was put into office. Like, by her words, she's just clearly showing she doesn't get it.
So there was a thing that happened recently that we didn't cover it on the show, but it's very small. A lot of people covered it in a strange way. So Maxine Waters had been calling for the impeachment of Trump.
Oh, but she denied she said it.
And then she denied she said it. And of course, everybody was like, well, she denied it. She denied it.
She said it on television, though.
Okay, no, we know. It was a definite, she said it, and she said, I didn't say it. But the underlying issue around that is what's really cool. The underlying reason you should be asking yourself is, why would a woman who is absolutely opposed to Donald Trump in every way, shape, or form backtracking on something that she knows she said multiple times? So let me tell you why. She's getting a push from her base. Black people, somebody said to Maxine Waters, you better watch it with Donald Trump. So you look at what Trump's done for blacks. The H-1B visas, they just had a story that said it's going to help a lot of black kids coming out of HBCUs with the STEM classes. So all these black kids are graduating with technical degrees and can't get jobs, the good jobs, and they blame a lot of it on the H-1B visas. He just had a group of the black educators that came to the White House, and everybody talked about Kellyanne sitting on a couch. He had every one of these HBCU presidents there to talk about giving money to the colleges and exploring those programs, and he did it. So here's my point. Donald Trump is doing a lot of things to help the black community, and Maxine Waters felt that pressure. That pressure is about to be applied across this nation as Trump continues his policies. These policies are pro-America, but when you look at where the blacks sit economically in this country, everything that Trump does raises things for us geometrically, if not exponentially. The more jobs he creates, the more jobs we have a chance to get. The more opportunities he creates, the more opportunities we have to get. When you start looking at the policy that he has for the border policy, a lot of those jobs are jobs that black folks want, and they will take. So
well, I do think that people, you mentioned a lot of people are talking about Elizabeth Warren specifically. I think there's probably an anger with a number of Trump supporters. They feel like they're being threatened. They feel like they're getting the finger pointed at them, saying, if you voted for Trump, then you must be a racist. I think you can get in trouble as a politician, whether you talk about voters being racist, Marie, or being deplorables, as Hillary Clinton said, and that got her in a lot of trouble. You don't want to be in that position of really pointing fingers at any of the voters, because when you're running for president, you're not just running as a Republican or as a Democrat. You are running for the United States of America, and that is all. But in order to win, you've got to get more votes than just your party, right? I mean, that's the reality of it.
As a Democrat on this panel, I agree with you, and I hope my party is doing a lot of soul searching at all of the different reasons we lost in different states. My home state of Ohio.
Are they though?
Well,
do you have any hope that they are?
I do, actually. I do. And we're starting to see that in some of the special elections. I think heading into 2018, look, do I think Elizabeth Warren is the best voice for our party? No, I'm never going to say she is.
I actually think Joe Biden has done a really good job.
I was on the Biden 2016, bandwagon till the end. But we thought as Democrats, I think, at least the Hillary people did, I won't put myself in that category because I didn't work for her, but that we could sort of write off Trump voters before November, and that we could not really get to the crux and understand why they were not voting for a Democrat. And I believe that we can't do that. I think there are a number of party leaders who believe that we can't do that. People like Jason Cantor in Missouri, people in Indiana and Ohio, states I've lived in that are red states, but that I think are sort of in the middle.
You guys are, Marie, you guys are missing the point. The Trump voter is the average Joe American voter.
There's a lot of Trump voters.
Hang on, but they're tired of liars. They're tired of politicians being politicians. They want doers. And what they see, what is going to drag a lot of Democrats, and already has, drag a lot of Democrats over to Donald Trump is the fact that he does stuff. With Donald Trump, he's
still got a lot to follow through on.
What has he done on his list of promises in the first 100 days?
Here's what I'll tell you.
No, answer my question. What has he done?
Let me tell you what, the beginning of that, then I'll answer your question. When Donald Trump sees a piece of land, he doesn't talk about it ethereally. He talks about it as there will be a building on this piece of land in a couple of years or 5 years.
And then he
so when you ask what has he done for us, he's tried to pass the refugee
which has twice been held up by federal court.
Well, that's fine. You can say that, but at least he's
okay, but that's not a success. What else?
from a policy point of view, he's had many successes.
What? Say them.
Well,
healthcare failure, refugee policy failure, no tax reform, no infrastructure.
Okay, so the first thing he did with Obamacare, when you say it's a healthcare failure, he stopped the ability for you to have to get paid to charge for that. So, in other words, I don't get a fee for that. Anything that penalizes an American that had to do with the ACA.
The promise of repeal and replace.
Absolutely.
Failure.
That's not a failure. That's not a failure. He stopped anything that has to do with you getting a penalty.
I think it's still too early. We're not even at the 100-day mark. And I also don't think he has been given the treatment and sort of the respect that any normal president, regardless of party, in those and that honeymoon period, as they call it, right? I think people have sort of laughed him off even before he started running for office. So I'm not saying that he's already proven he's followed through with his promises.
No, he does.
But I think
the nucleus of this conversation, though, is that Democrats aren't going to get anywhere calling people racist.
Right.
There are people all over the internet that say just because you're conservative, just because you're a Republican, just because you voted for Trump, you're automatically racist. It's the quickest way to get people to vote for Trump again.
There's no question about that because we're tired of hearing that, but I'm not going to let you off the hook with what he's done. There have been 29 executives. I named the first thing with the ACA. It was the very first thing that he's done.
Neil Gorsuch is my big
Neil Gorsuch is the big one. But he has
go down the list of the 29 executive orders. Okay, so let's look at what he's done. When you look at Carrier and the jobs that have been created, look at the number of people who didn't leave, Ford that didn't leave because they were going to go to Mexico. Look at U.S. Steel that just unscuttled a plant that's right across the river from me in St. Louis and brought on 200 people. Look at Dow saying they're going to put more people in Michigan and start their innovation center there and create 150 jobs. Look at what Alibaba said about bringing their facilities here. Look at what IBM said of bringing 29,000 jobs back to the United States.
So is that what Republicans should run on in 2018? Megan, do you think? What do you think?
I think that anyone who brought spicy into my life and Melissa McCarthy parroting him is already a success for me.
I love Megan. This is when I love you.
Legitimately, though, foreign policy-wise, I like that he's in line with people like me a lot more. Mattis, Mad Dog Mattis, McMaster. I mean, these are home runs. I mean,
he's got good people around him.
he has brilliant people foreign policy-wise around him. He is showing internationally the world is the era of the
people domestically.
But that the apology tour for America is really over, and that if ISIS screws with us, we will use our arsenal to its utmost force in any capacity possible. That's what I like about President Trump.
I think he'll win on two things. I think he will win if we appear stronger foreign policy-wise, because when we're stronger, I think the rest of the world is stronger and a safer place, and if he can continue bringing jobs here.
All right, so let me get at least one viewer comment here. Patrice says, sheesh, one more time. Many Trump voters voted for a negotiator who would cut through the garbage without holding to an inflexible ideology. We knew it would take time in the swamp to turn it around. So is there patience for those who have supported him all along as we approach the 100-day mark for him?
I haven't found a single voter that voted for Trump who's disappointed. I have not met him.
There are a lot that have been interviewed in major articles and a lot of anecdotal evidence about people who say, I wanted Obamacare repealed and replaced. They promised it, and it... No, you can't shake your hand at the American people if they don't agree with you.
It's not that
That's exactly what you're doing.
No, what you do is you go, oh, yeah, there was this one person
Well, you just said no one. I've not seen any evidence that anyone's unhappy. There's a lot of...
In my world,
well, you should maybe read more newspapers.
There's not been a single... I'm not going to read the ones that you read because they're going to tell me what I know is fake news. I want to know what the real deal is. And most people that voted for Trump are very happy with Trump.
No, one thing I have heard...
a lot of the never-Trumpers are coming on board.
I will say one thing I have heard. Talking to actual Trump voters is they are frustrated that he has not been given really an opportunity because they feel like a lot of the media outlets, they don't portray exactly what's going on totally accurately. And I do think there's something to that. I do think that he does.
And if Paul Ryan and the Freedom Caucus don't start helping him, by the way, as well, which the Obamacare repeal and replacement being not going through, we also have to get on board politically as a party and support our president. And I mean this on all moderates, conservatives, Freedom Caucus people, libertarians, everyone in between. We all have to support him, and that's also not happening.
I mean, think about Ronald Reagan at the end of his tenure when he got the most done. He was working with Democrats. He was working with Tip O'Neill. So neither one got exactly what they wanted out of those deals, but they worked together and they compromised. And I think today we're living in a dangerous time when both parties are in such extremes. No one is willing to compromise, even just the conversations that we're having about the news now. Come on, that's true.
I think Trump will compromise in a way
and we're glad you are.
In a way that lets lets people that voted for him feel comfortable.
Fun couch today.
Yep.
Thanks for being here.
Kevin, great to have you.
Thank you. Good to see all of you. We'll see you tomorrow at noon.
Yay.